Hi, Mimi.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, viewers. We are the Traveling Herbivores, and today we're going to talk about...
van life in Australia.
Woo!
We haven't really answered any questions from you guys, so we put out a poll yesterday on our Instagram, and we got some really good questions.
Yeah, and we'll be sure to timestamp your exact questions down below, so you can just skip all the fluff and jump right into your question and get it answered.
But if you want to watch the whole video,
we highly encourage it.
that'd be cool.
You ready to jump into it?
Yeah, let's get started.
Cool. So who's our first question from?
Our first question is from Lena. Hello, how are you doing? Hope you're well. And she asked, have you done van life in the US, and how does it differ from Australian van life?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard for us to answer because we haven't done much of van life in America yet, since we pretty much just got our first van in America. But I feel like Australia is definitely a little more relaxed in the sense that you can kind of pull up and sneaky camp more often, and you don't have to worry about kind of weird people calling the cops or anything like that. But also in Australia, it's very common. People do road trips up and down the coast all the time, so there's a lot more places to stay if you want to go the paid route. Versus in America, I don't think I've done much research on the fact that if there are campsites or RV parks up and down the coast for us to park. Do you know a little more about that?
Yeah, there are. They're just a bit expensive. It's like $40 to $60. But that's in California, and that's actually where it's more common to do van life. But I'm sure if you're like road tripping east to west, you can get away with more sneaky camping. But yeah, I think Australia is a bit cheaper than America in general, so it is cheaper as well. Our next question is from Melanie, and she asks, what aspect of van life caused the most arguments? Directions, space? I don't think we had a lot of arguments with directions. Maybe we would bicker with each other, but I think we both have a very wanderlust spirit, so if we did get lost, it was more enjoyable, and we'd always be like, well, this is cool, I'm glad we took the wrong left or whatever.
One thing that caused the most arguments between us was when we were a little hangry, and we were like, we didn't know where we were, and we were like, we gotta get some food, we're hungry. And it's like, go here, let's go here, I told you to go here. I think that's where most of the arguments came from, was honestly had to do with hunger.
Yeah, that's true. Especially when it gets really hot and you're living in a van that doesn't have air conditioning, so you're just kind of like, struggling to breathe in a tight space. I'm trying to think of other fights we had. We didn't really fight. We would just bicker with each other.
Yeah. I feel like all the bickering was either food or a little bit money related, because you're tight on funds and there are some certain things that you want to do, but you kind of have to compromise sometimes, or sometimes you got to splurge a little bit. So I think it's walking that fine line of communication and balance and compromise that kind of helps you not to argue the most.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I wanted to go to a lot of zoos and do a lot of parks, but Ryan was the one that kind of reminded us that we are in a budget that we created for this to make sure we're able to comfortably live.
Yeah. And by zoos, she means sanctuaries.
Oh, sorry, sanctuaries, yeah. I was thinking of Australia Zoo, the one with the Irwins. That one was kind of expensive, but I don't know, it was worth it.
It was cool.
Yeah. You gotta give and take.
So Devin asked us, do you ever find lizards in there? And also, who farted more? So lizards in Australia or lizards in the van?
Lizards in the van, probably. We didn't find any lizards inside of the van. We would always see them in restrooms. I love those
public bathrooms.
Yeah, the public
bathrooms by the beach at night when we would brush our teeth. That's where we saw.
So cute.
Yeah, they were nice though. Yeah, I mean, you love the little lizards. They just sit up there and kind of chirp and hang out.
They chirp?
Yeah. They go the.
Oh yeah. We would get really excited because there'd be like little babies, and the next day you'd see other ones that are the same size. So it's like a whole family being born. I don't know.
It's nice.
Who farted more?
Ooh. I think it depended on
the meal. We both eat the same amount.
Yeah, we eat the same amount in the same meal every day. Like, I think and if we go to a restaurant and get two separate things, we always split it anyways.
Yeah,
so our farts are pretty much like on par. It's kind of funny. Our next question comes from Katie May. Hi, was it easy to find places to sleep, or did you have to book or plan nights in booked accommodation?
We personally didn't book anything in advance because we started van life in fall.
Yeah.
So nothing was really booked up. But if you're doing it in summer, we highly recommend booking in advance and sort of planning your trip out.
Yeah, one thing I can say to that is there are a lot of Australian holidays and like 3 or 4 day weekends that we didn't know about. And during those weekends, things get booked up like 3 to 4 weeks in advance. So you really got to like plan ahead during the summer months. But for the first 2 months, we actually pretty much stayed in booked accommodation pretty much every night, and that is something we kind of regret because we spent so much money doing that. We didn't realize that you can really get away with sneaky camping if you're responsible and respectable and you don't litter, be loud or anything like that, or pull in front of someone's house. Just got to be a little smart with it, and you can really stay for free out there.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And it was nice if you're doing booked accommodation in advance. It is nice once in a while to find those places where they have like remember there was one that had a hot spring. What are they called? Not a hot spring.
A hot tub?
A hot tub. What did I say? Hot spring. They have a giant hot tub and a sauna. And so it was only like $40 a night, but you got this like really nice, relaxing experience.
Towards the end of our trip in Australia, we would stay in booked accommodation maybe like every 1 to 2 weeks, just because it was a good chance to reset. We would get there as early as we could. We would park and hang out and do our laundry and take a nice shower and shave or do whatever we needed to do because we didn't have to worry about shaving in a public bathroom. you know, it's really up to you what you want to do. If you want to pay for your accommodation out there, or if you just want to sneaky camp and save some money. But I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
And if you're staying in a certain area for a long time, ask the locals, become friends with some of your baristas, because they're always really nice and more than happy to let you know about the cool sneaky spots to stay at.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a great tip.
This one's from 𝚏𝚑𝚎𝚛. Sorry if I said that wrong. Are there a lot of job opportunities in Australia?
This is a great question and a tricky question.
There are and there aren't, if we're being honest. I found it really hard to get a job in Melbourne, and it wasn't until I made a friend and she helped me get a job. So I definitely think that if you're looking for a job, make some friends, get a Bumble best friends app, and like hang out with some girls or guys or whatever, and that's how you'll find your job, honestly.
Yeah, it's all about connections. When we were in Majimba, I got extremely lucky at just one of the millions of or hundreds of jobs I applied to. Basically was like, okay, come in, and I was like, sweet. So I got very lucky, but I didn't get a job in Melbourne. I didn't get a job on the coast. I'm a freelance graphic and web designer, and I didn't get anything out there design-wise besides some freelance stuff that I was doing from the States.
Back home.
But I mean, it was definitely tough. And when I was working, Mimi was also looking for a job on the Sunshine Coast, and she couldn't find anything. So it's really, I mean, she got lucky and got a job in Melbourne, and I wasn't working, and then we flip-flopped once we started van life. So it's really a hit or miss. I think we got pretty lucky. Sorry.
I was just going to say that I think if you go to the country with experience, there's a lot of jobs for hairstylists and what did Abe do?
Oh, construction.
Construction. There's a lot of construction jobs too that pay really good, but you have to have a certificate. So you kind of want to go into the country having a rough idea of what you want to do. Same with serving and bartending. You have to get licenses depending on where you're working. So just look into that. I'll leave a link down below that gives you like a full description of certificates you need to get in Australia to work. But I hope this doesn't discourage you guys.
No,
because
it definitely shouldn't.
I definitely think it's also like being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And just be really nice. You never know who you're gonna meet.
Okay, this next question comes from Rita. Hello, Rita. Hope you're doing well. Her first question is, how did you get a visa to work in Oz, and what is the process? Any tips? This is a pretty hectic list of things that you need. We could do a whole video on this, but we'll kind of break down the major bullet points right here.
If you're American, it's called the Work and Holiday Visa, and it is the subclass 462. So it costs 485 Australian dollars to apply, and if you don't get accepted, you don't get that money back, just so you're aware. And they really want somebody that has no criminal record, no children, and is between the ages of 18 to 30. So when you're applying, they will have a question. And it just basically asks you, why do you want to do this? So just make sure you stress the fact that you're happy, you're healthy, you want to travel, you're ready to work, and you're just like ready to jump into the country to start working.
At first it's a little stressful because you're like giving up all this money for this application, and you're like, it's a little much at first, to be honest. And I remember sitting at our kitchen table, and when we like finally sent it through, and we were like, oh God, I hope we get approved or else. But it like literally half an hour later we got a confirmation, and it was like, sweet, now we buy tickets and we're on our way.
Oh, also check when you're applying, because there is a cap at the end of the year with how many people they allow to enter the country. So just be mindful of that. And your visa starts right when you get to the country. So if you apply for it and you get accepted, you can wait, I think, up to a year to enter the country for it to start. So the next question that she asked is, how did you acquire the van and sell it when you two were ready to come back?
So we acquired the van through a Facebook marketplace group called Backpackers Camper Van Sales Australia. It's a great Facebook group, and we'll link it down below. But that's how we found our van. Unfortunately, we had to pour a little bit of money into it. We bought it for $1,750 and put about $2,000 into it before we actually hit the road. But we had this van for a very long time, for 5-6 months.
Yeah.
And that was a lot cheaper than it would have been renting a van. So if you're going short term, if you want to do it for like a month or 2 months, I would look into renting a van, just because you can get that insurance and kind of have that protection in your back pocket versus buying a van where you have to get your own insurance and you have to do all the maintenance yourself, and but then it's a little cheaper, and you can kind of get your money back when it comes time to sell the van. So when we did sell the van, we used the same marketplace Facebook group that we used to buy it, and bunch of different people came and looked at it. Some were interested, some were not. Some people hit us from out of the country, which I think is an excellent idea. We sold it to actually a local who lived in the Sunshine Coast, who was looking to do some road trips up and down the coast. So he bought our van, and he was kind enough to drop us off in Brisbane, where we spent our last week or week and a half before our flight back to the States.
Yeah. All right, so our next question is from Moonbeans, and she asked, how old were you both when you started the van life dream and the actual van life itself?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
That is a great question. How old were we?
I think a year before we left.
I think 2 years.
Oh, really?
I feel like we started kind of talking about it. We were like, oh, that'd be cool to do someday. Yeah, we should do that. And then like the conversations just started happening more and more, to the point where we were like, okay, if we don't do it, we're never going to do it. You know, we're just going to get stuck into this 9-to-5 lifestyle, which is what we were already doing, you know, and we're like, okay, we're kind of too young to be settling down already and just getting into our career lives. So I think about 2 years before we left, so that would have been 2017.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
2017, and we would have been like 21, 22, something like that. And we started thinking about it, and then it became more of a reality, and then it was like, okay, we're actually going to do this. So we started saving. It took us a year to save up and basically get everything in order before we finally pulled the trigger and submitted the application and bought the tickets out there.
Yeah.
And once once that kind of happened, it wasn't a reality, or it was reality, you know? It wasn't a dream. It was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. So we moved to Melbourne and stayed there for 6 months, and bought a van 4 months in and started fixing it up. And we were like, okay, we got some money saved up. We've both been working for a little bit. Weather's starting to get a little warmer. Let's go hit the coast. Yeah. Got anything?
I don't know. I think you summed it up perfectly. If you're planning on doing van life, something that helped me a lot throughout the process is I kind of got obsessed with it, if that makes sense. Like, I'd have a Pinterest board dedicated to van life, so I knew like the experiences that I wanted to have. Like, I really wanted to wake up and hear the birds chirping, so I'd like look at a lot of pictures of that and just like manifesting and visualizing myself in that situation until it became a reality. So yeah, we basically, like, our whole world was talking about van life and what we would do to it, and like the colors, and well, mine was more the aesthetic, Ryan was more like the mechanic aspect to it. So
And the functionality.
yeah,
I think if you're watching this video, you're already making the first step, because was the first thing that we did. We went on YouTube and we asked questions and saw answers.
Yeah.
And watched these videos, and we were like, okay, the more we learned about it, the more we were like, all right, we could do this.
Yeah.
So you're already doing the first step.
Research.
Yeah. We said it when we were out there, and I'll say it now, anyone can do it. I mean, unless you have a criminal record or you're past the age limit or too young.
Yeah, but you could still do it if you go in to just like travel. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
everyone can still do it if they're just traveling to the country and then doing van life for a week or two, which is fine.
Guys, thank you so much for asking these questions. We really enjoyed answering them during this quarantine time. If you have any more, please leave a comment down below and we'll get to them, because we don't have that many followers and we respond and look. So if you have questions, ask them down below. We'll answer. Be sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, turn on the bells. It's your boy, Mimi. It's your girl, Ryan.
Oh my God.
And we're out here answering questions in our van because we are bored. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
See you guys later.